Welcome, Guardian!
Alright, now that that's over, let's get into why I think you should be using Ace with some sort of aggressive sniper this season. Alright, so this thing right here is going to be your key to success. The seasonal artifact with the hand cannon targeting mod is going to be exactly like Lorentz was last season, where you're basically not going to miss any shots, so I would go ahead and put this on. Now, personally, I like the Ace of Spades. It's been my favorite gun since this game came out, and in my opinion, it's the best hand cannon in the game. I mean, really, you get a 140 hand cannon that once its perk is activated, it becomes a 120 with a 140 RPM. But really, whatever hand cannon you want to use is fine. I just personally would go for one with a decent amount of range. Now, I've got some gameplay footage of me using these weapons. Now, I'm more like a decent kind of player. I'm not exactly your shadow level cracked. But really, when you're using these methods, I do highly recommend that you sit alongside the walls and sort of play peek and pop, some peek and shooting kind of deal. And as long as you keep doing that, you're way less likely to take damage, and then you can really utilize the effects with the hand cannon. And I do recommend that you just go ahead and use all of the invis perks on the hunter, the trapper with the dodge invis, because it just provides you an advantage when coming around corners. They're not going to see you coming. And then with that smoke bomb, it adds a nice little benefit, as you just saw there, where I slammed the ground and basically made my entire team invisible. And as you see right here, I didn't come around the corner and just kind of start blasting. You can see him up there on the radar, but you go ahead and you go over there and you try to get your crosshairs on his head as quickly as you can, but do not pull the trigger until you see only head inside of the crosshair. And the reason for that is, especially if you're just coming out of invis or you are invisible, is when you line up that shot, you get the most guaranteed damage out of that shot, and there's no chance of him running away or regaining his health, or even potentially coming back and killing you. Now, personally, I do use 100 mobility, 100 recovery, and 100 strength. And with the little buffs that the super has for its aspects as far as plus 10 goes for those categories, it does make it relatively easy to get. But as for exotics, I do run Graviton Forfeit, but you could also run Omni Oculus pretty effectively as well. But for Infinite Invis, those are the two I would go for. And right here, please don't do what I did. If you're going to throw a grenade, throw it before you push, especially if it's Axion Bolt, because whatever I just did right here was extremely god awful. Now, I don't know how I missed the first snipe here. This has to be the easiest snipe ever of my life that I just whiffed. Also right here, I do not recommend going off solo like I just did here. As you can see, looking up at the radar, there is nobody near me as an ally. Do not do this. Now I have switched back to Spectral Blades because I didn't realize that the super didn't one tap, and that right there is just comedically funny at how terrible the supers still are. Now, neat thing about Trapper is right here, as you see where I throw the smoke on the wall and it makes me invis, the smoke still stays there and it does show up on the radar and it registers as an enemy that way. So it's a very nice thing to throw on the wall, go invis, and go the complete opposite direction of the smoke bomb, and a lot of enemies will still think you are standing at the corner of this wall. Or if you do decide to just go ahead and solo push, it does look like there are two allies pushing this area, and typically the enemies will fall back, so this way you're not running into some sticky situations right away. And always, 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 once you get low in health, go the other way. Do not keep fighting, do not re-peek and shoot, get your health back. This is why I do recommend running 100 recovery. If you can't run 100 mobility and or 100 strength, at least get 100 recovery and as high mobility as you possibly can, preferably tier 9 or 10, but definitely get that 100 recovery because it comes in clutch a lot. Now, if you are going to pop your super, especially Spectral Blades, at least jump up and slash and make some kind of erratic movement so this way you are significantly harder to shoot and don't just kind of like thrall like this guy. Now, I do sort of jump a little bit too much sometimes, but it's sort of ingrained in my DNA as I am a hunter. I'm working better on fixing that. However, I would say not to do it as often, especially with an exotic hand cannon, because one like this, Ace of Spades, it's not going to have Icarus pre-built on it. So it's something you don't want to rely on going forward. Now, I don't know how many people are aware of this, but if you are using any of the slam sort of characteristics on the hunter, if you do it near a wall, for whatever reason you do get kind of stuck to the wall and float down very slowly. And this still very much is an issue even with the Witch Queen update, when you're using the Void subclass and you do use the Trapper, when you slam near a wall, you do float down just as slow, if not even slower, it feels like to me, but it probably is the same speed. But it still very much is an issue that Destiny does need to fix. Alright, now that's all I have for today's video. As this is my first video, my channel is not very large, so if you would kindly please leave me a like and or a subscription, I'd greatly appreciate it. I will have some more content going forward, and hopefully I'll only grow and get better as we go along.
And until the next time, stay smoky, Guardian.